Well, right now we are just about 20 minutes out from the start of our formal flying display and our opening ceremonies, of which features an incredible lineup of civilian and military aircraft and performers assembled from across the country right here in Las Vegas this weekend. Many of those performers getting themselves ready, everybody getting ready up here on the stand as well, as we prepare for what's going to be a very exciting day here in the skies above Nellis Air Force Base. As we set up for that, the mission start high above us right now is the HC-130 being utilized this weekend by the Misty Blues and all of the skydiving team. And on Minute Drift Indicators, or WDIs for short, they're made from a lightweight crepe paper and a small weight, and they simulate that of a jumper under canopy. There they are.
Everything's still looking very good at this point. Okay, all flight controllers, go for powered descent. Retro, go. Rhino, go. Guidance, go. Control, go. Telcom, go. Ginseng, go. Econ, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for powered descent.
It's the United States Air Force Thunderbirds. The 2025 Aviation Nation Air Show begins. Let's fly! Shoots one last check of the winds and one last check of the drop zone as our HC-130 is at an altitude of some 6,000 feet above the ground. We now have jumpers jump with what are known as ram air canopies, flying them much like how the Wright brothers first flew back in 1903 by warping the wings. These parachutes are fairly maneuverable and have an inherent forward speed of some 22 miles an hour. As Amanda, Joe, and Sarah continue to work their way down to our left, flying these ram air parachutes, well, it's fairly simple. To turn left, they pull down on the left steering line. To turn right, they pull down on the right steering line. And as these ladies work their way into the target area, they will pull down on both steering lines simultaneously for the slowest and safest possible landing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are within the sound of my voice and you are able, if you would, please stand and come to attention as we welcome Staff Sergeant Alicia Council in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early air? Oh, say,
of the Misty Blues. We are going to be welcoming next to Nellis Air Force Base high overhead that of Crystal Teetercraft at a busy airport. Analysts, map instructors, civil and aerospace engineers, farmers, geologists, and marine designers. Currently, 10 skydivers on the demonstration team. As she continues to work that ram air canopy, you will see that it in fact actually has two different airfoils, a top wing and a bottom wing with some tunnels that actually go in between. It's a far cry from the round canopies of World War II. Skydiving becoming the extreme sport now of the 21st century.
The HC-130J is the Air Force's only dedicated fixed-winged personnel recovery platform. It specializes in tactical profiles and austere environment conditions, including that of helicopter air-to-air refueling for the mission of Combat Search and Rescue, or CSAR. One of the Air Force's newest variants of the mighty Hercules, it is one of the longest implementations of any cargo aircraft in history, with the production line continuing to this day. We want to extend a very big thank you to the 34th Weapons Squadron for flying today's jump platform. A very big round of applause for them. Well, it is so great to look out and see so many of you joining us on this beautiful Sunday morning for Aviation Nation 2025. In just a moment, we're going to be recovering the HC-130J as our aerial action continues to get us started here on what's going to be a splendid flying display of some very impressive performers and aircraft. In just a few moments, we're going to be welcoming to our show pilots Stephen Christopher and Todd Rudberg, and they come together to create that hub show the teams on the circuit. This team was founded back in 2020 when Stein and Todd worked to refine their formation skills, and what began as a simple formation will evolve into a complex series of maneuvers, eventually leading to the development of a full air show routine. Today, the Undaunted team is known for Shrek the Boss with their high-speed passes, formation maneuvers, and synchronized aerobatics. Stephen Christopher is the lead aircraft as they take the inboard runway as our combat B2 represents their runway 035. Stephen Christopher goes like Christo, the lead pilot, brings a wealth of aviation experience to the team. He has spent some 17 years flying bush planes up in Alaska and has developed a passion for aviation and refueling aircraft as well. This is RS-17 built himself. He later competed with the national championship air races, and he has over 3,000 hours of flight time. Todd Rudberg is our team. Right wing position today, and he has been immersed in aviation since his infancy. Todd's father, Bill, would take him flying as a kid. The team that Todd qualified was RBA at an astonishing 277 miles an hour at those air races, the national championships in Rhino, and setting the record for the fastest ever lap flown in an RV airplane. To our show, Stephen Christopher and Todd Rudberg, the Undaunted Air Shows team. Maneuver the challenging formation barrel roll.
Formation flying, very challenging for those who do it, maintaining position and station throughout the entirety of their formation routine. Todd, on the wing, doesn't dare take his eyes off of Steven's airplane in the lead. We're going to watch him now as they perform this, the wing over, or the whifferdill maneuver, as they trade some altitude for airspeed and work their way back inbound from our left towards show center. We're going to watch now to the left as they ease the sticks back into their laps and they perform this, yet another vertical formation loop. Flying just a few feet apart. Let's put our hands together for the Undaunted air The Undaunted air show's team of inspiration actually stems from a deep history of innovation flight, initially developed. To maximize combat efficiency, innovation flying has since become a staple of military aviation, serving many strategic and tactical purposes. We're going to watch now for the bottom-up pass as they work their way to the back stretch of the aerobatic box as they set up for a maneuver they like to call the switchblade. Cameras at the ready, and there's the cross. To quickly rejoin into this two-ship element. It is the flight leader's job to fly the formation and to fly it well, flying the formation as one, being deliberate and smooth on the controls. The wingman's job to remain symmetrical, and of course Todd doing quite a bit of continual control inputs in order to maintain station on the leader. Performing this now, another wing over maneuver to our left. We're going to watch as Steven and Todd approach once again as they set up this time for this, the vertical split. The Vans RV line of aerobatic and experimental sport aircraft considered to be added to Steven's RV-7, named Margarita, took its first flight in 2010, while Todd's RV-8, named that of Undaunted, was completed in 2019 using parts from previous aircraft built with his father. Powered by Lycoming Rhino 990 engine producing about 250 to 400 horsepower. The airplanes have an impressive power-weight ratio, are capable of speeds of some 200 miles an hour. Completing their Cuban rejoin, as they like to call it. We watch them now as they continue in this formation routine. We'll get another vertical formation loop as they now work to swap wings as on-road transitions to the trail. Let's take a look. And exiting the in-trail loop for the Undaunted Air Show's signature, they like to call the Mr. Twister, as they now work their way off to Air Show left. How about a big round of applause, everybody, for the Undaunted Air Show's team. pilots out there as they continue with this continuous positive G performance, continuous pull on the stick as they work their way up and over the top. Undaunted Air Shows is proud to be supported by Lycon Aircraft Engine, a trusted name in the high-performance aviation power business. Based in Visalia, California, Lycon provides engines from everything from everyday family aircraft to record-breaking air show machines. Their expertise is evident in Todd's RV-8, which he later achieved its historic Rio air race record thanks to the power and precision of a Lycon-tuned Lyconic motor. In this next sequence of maneuvers, we watch as they actually swap positions here as Steven flies the wing and Todd flying lead as they keep it going all the way through. Together for the Undaunted Air Shows team. The entirety of this performance, there's 5 separations, 4 head-to-head opposition passes, 30 overhead maneuvers, and some 2 lead changes. No other air show team anyplace. We've seen this much going on at any given time, and they take a great deal of pride in doing such. Stephen and Todd would like to extend a very big thank you to the Aviation Nation Air Show team for the invitation to fly for you this weekend, and to the great people of Las Vegas and Nevada for their outstanding hospitality as well. Jerry now continues to climb to our left. He will accelerate to over 330 miles an hour and set up for his first pass.
You okay? You okay? No problem.
Yes, indeed, we've got some crystal clear blue skies, some clear as clouds out, and that black rainbow looks nice today for first pass. What are you looking for next? Now, this was a very impressive aircraft after its introduction, reaching a top speed of some 550 miles an hour, and was an aircraft too that set many world records. We're going to watch Jerry Conley now into the Haslett Vampire as he passes over back behind the Thunderbirds for this pass. Here's speed on that pass somewhere. What do you think, Jerry? About 300?
About 250. We slowed it down so the crowd went in. Now we're going to start our aerobatic sequence and let's see what the 80-year-old technology can do in an air show. And the fuselage time that I'm sitting in, if you told the crowd, it's all good in private.
Yeah, it was after, actually it was during World War II that building materials were quite hard to come by. And believe it or not, a lot of this aircraft. And of course the Vampire was indeed a lethal fighter with some 4 20mm cannons, a total of 600 rounds, and could carry up to 8 air-to-ground rockets or 2 500-pound bombs. You watch Jerry Conley now in his position as he completes this, the big barrier profile shows. Yes, indeed, we'll be looking at it for that from the right. This was an airplane that was introduced to the British public in June 1946 when it was given the honor to lead the fly past over London. During the Victory Day celebrations, it was the Vampire that was the first jet fighter to reach over 505 miles an hour. It was this aircraft became the world's first single-engine jet fighter, and it was the Vampire that ultimately became the first jet to successfully fly across the Atlantic Ocean. We're going to watch to the right as he sets up for this forward-wing hesitation roll. Let's watch as Jerry stops the aircraft after the landing crease through the full 360-degree rolling maneuver. Nicely done. How about a very nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Jerry Conley and the 4-point roll.
Now look, we're going to give the audience a little bit of a demonstration of the power of the Vampire. Now remember, this is an aircraft that was designed and built during the middle of World War II. The airplane itself holds the Rhino jet speed record at 545 miles per hour for a 80-year-old fighter jet.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive stuff. The technological advances that happened during World War II were absolutely staggering. And of course, the British and of course the de Havilland Vampire that we're seeing today harnessing that new technology. Inbound now from the left. a student. And depending on whose history book you read, somewhere around 4,000 of these vampires were produced.
And now, wash and repeat. Do it from the other side.
Jerry is now performing this maneuver called the Cuban 8.
Now we're crossing over the top about 175 knots. Let her fall on the 45 down line and roll her back to the show center.
It was a maneuver that was invented much by accident back in the 1930s by a guy named Lynn Povey. He was an American pilot training the Cuban Air Force. And he was performing an aerobatic demonstration at the Miami Air Races, pulled up into a loop and realized... One of the world's first ever jet combat aircraft. What do you think, Nellis Air Force Base? We'll put our hands together for Jerry Conley and the Vampire.
Yeah, Luke, we're going to give him one more banana pass from left to right with a pop-up break at the end, reverse to land.
Copy that. We'll be looking for it. Setting up for one more pass
We're
from
coming around.
your left. Giving you a great look at the iconic and the distinguishable design of the Vampire.
Well, in just a moment, we're going to recover the Vampire and you will see some additional vintage military aircraft way out in the runway in front of us. They are airplanes from Nellis, Southern California, wing of the Thunderbirds Air Force Base out of Camarillo, California. And joining us for today's show are three very relevant two aircraft. The first of which is the 1806 Texan AT State Base trainer. One of the record tipped down from Austin. News Crews called for Rhino maker. Trained to the mountain in LA airmen. They less than 60 horsepower.
It is joined today in this Warbird review by two significantly historic aircraft. In the lead, the North American PBG Legion bomber is accompanied by now the Roman F6 Hellcat. PBJ combined 3,400 horsepower generated by its two Wright R2600 twin Cyclone engines. Prior to and just after the nation's entry into World War II, after the attack on Pearl Harbor, a plan was devised to launch B-25 Mitchell bombers off an aircraft carrier and attack Tokyo. A gentleman named Jimmy Doolittle was tasked in planning this very top secret raid. Some 80 men and 16 aircraft made their way to Fort Walton Beach, Florida to begin flying training for this mission at Eglin Field, and went on to provide that of the first Allied airstrike on Japan during World War II, and very much was payback on Pearl Harbor. After that raid, the morale on the home front sent a message to the Japanese. And while the Army Air Force program, the B-25, served at every theater, PBJs, like the one we're seeing now, was used extensively in the South Pacific to attack enemy shipping bases. They were very popular with their various PBJs were being rugged, dependable, and reliable. Now watch it now from the right to give you a look. The Japanese would have seen that every day in 1952. Military aviation. Used by the Allied Air Forces, the B-25 served at every theater of World War II, and after the war ended, many remained in service, operating across some 4 decades. Nearly 10,000 were built. Flying in a high combat air patrol over the PBJ, the Hellcat scanning the skies for trouble, and with the simulated zero hot on the PBJ's tail, he better find some soon. After serving with the Naval Special Weapons Division on the East Coast, this aircraft was stricken from the Navy's inventory in 1947 and purchased that summer by the St. Louis Flying Service. After going through some 12 different owners, it was restored to flying condition in 1981 and purchased by the Commemorative Air Force in 1989. It is painted today in the colors of VAB 611, Fitchwood Marine Corps Bombs Wing. Maneuverability and long range. Being flown by Rob Lips Perkberg. An aerial salute to all of our military members, both past and present. The aircraft now repositioning for a photo pass from your right. Get your cameras ready as No one does it better. Let's put our hands together for the members of the Commemorative Air Force. Thunderbolt 2, recommend the President 2,100 hours in the main tank killer and participated in combat operations over Bosnia. In addition to the PBJ, he's also checked out many of the winged aircraft, including the Hellcat and their Zero, which unfortunately couldn't be with us this weekend due to... SoCal Air Force is honored to be part of this iconic airship here in Nellis.
It should be
exhibition, and remembrance. More than just a collection of airworthy warplanes from the past, the CAF's fleet of historic aircraft, known as the Gosua, recreate. We welcome next to our show from the United States Navy, the Boeing FA-18 Super Hornet. Demonstrate the full flying capabilities of the FA-18. With the landing gear still extended. After the completion of an aileron roll, the crew was quickly performing a vertical reposition to bring the jet back towards the show line for their next maneuver. Entering this maneuver at 350 knots, the aircrew will pull the jet into the vertical and roll the canopy towards the crowd. Selecting full afterburner, they'll reach airspeeds approaching 220 miles an hour and perform a very enjoyable negative 3G pushover to set up for the vertical pirouette. Showcase the incredible slow-speed characteristics of the Super Hornet. In air-to-air combat, sometimes the aircraft that flies the slowest has the best tactical advantage. Few other aircraft in the world would attempt to maneuver at such slow speeds and high angles of attack attitudes. With two flight control systems working together to aid the flight crew, this 40,000-pound Super Hornet remains completely controllable at less than 100 miles an hour. Mac and Mac will come through and demonstrate this high alpha or high angle of attack pass. During this maneuver, they'll be flying at just 120 miles an hour, holding a 25-degree nose-up position. From the left, the high alpha pass. Mac and Mac, it's Luke Carrico here on the ground. How slow can you go?
Nice. What's the audio? Yeah, 273.
An area 1/10 the size of a normal runway. Carrier aviators special touchdown between 4 wires stretched across the deck of the ship. Wave off, filter. Aviation Nation. Works its way back to its parking area. They'll be coming down the line, giving you a big wave. We again want to say a very big thank you to many of our partners who helped make this weekend possible. Thanks to AARP, fighting for the issues that affect you most right here in this Air Force Base. Welcome C-46 Pegasus. It has been a pleasure to present to you today the America's newest
Demonstration are Major Jeff Holschler, Major Matt Schaefer, and Major Gary Soa, who in 2 weeks will be celebrating his retirement. They're assisted by the boom operators on board, Technical Sergeant Austin Wilson and Staff Sergeant Braden Scarborough. Their maintenance crew on the ground are then of Mr. Paul Collins and Mr. Corbin Reeks. The 97th Air Mobility Wing at Altus Air Force Base in Oklahoma has the unique mission of training the world's KC-135, C-17, and KC-46 pilots, loadmasters, and boom operators. Each year, over 2,000 students graduate from the rigorous aircrew training at Altus. This particular KC-46 airframe is based off the Boeing 767-200 airliner, and its basic crew is 2 pilots and a boom operator. With an advanced refueling boom driven by a fly-by-wire control system, as well as an integrated hose and drogue system, the KC-46 can offload fuel to most capable receiver aircraft, including not only American Force aircraft, but also Allied partner nation aircraft. The Air Force took delivery of their first KC-46 in 2019 and now has around 80 airframes in service. Take a look now from the left as Major Holschler, Major Schaefer, and Major Soa approach for this, the landing attitude demonstration, just a couple feet above the runway environment.
The idea is that it simulates the lack of the reduced airflow throughout the wing. The pilot is pulling back on the wing. I actually don't know if the military do like higher 3,400 and higher. Pretty much When the pilot goes on the air, that everything there that stuff. Now it just being kind of like having fun over there. I think I really enjoy seeing military stations having
One of the highlights of Aviation Nation is the Combined Arms demonstration, and momentarily we will be launching a few aircraft to get them up to the perch for a demonstration that will follow in a bit that makes Aviation Nation an air show unrivaled any place in the world. Right now, to our right, you will see many of our fighters positioning, and they will soon be on the roll. We want to warn you that this will be quite loud as they
Watch as Stephen Covington brings the pits back around for the super slow roll. Aerospace Technologies, AC Air Tech, Hartzell Engine Tech, Skytech, Power Up, Aircraft Ignition Systems, Parachute, Outboard, Concord Batteries, Tempest, and point-to-point navigation provided by Typewire GPS. Ladies and gentlemen, for Stephen Covington and SRC Air Shows. Hold on, we're not done just yet. There's one more thing you're not going to see anywhere else in the world today, or in any other aircraft that flies today. Every aircraft that flies out here has to fly a downwind base and final. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, Stephen Covington is inverted on... Brings that aircraft down and sets it gently as possible from 1,500 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, once again for SRC Air Shows, Stephen Covington.
Steven flying around in that. SRC Air Shows, Mr. Allen Mitchell.
The first aircraft to launch the F-16 Fighting Falcons from the 64th Aggressor Squadron. They are joined by next on the takeoff roll, America's newest fifth-generation stealth fighters, the F-35A. Next on the roll from the 422 test and evaluate. And also joining today's combined arms demonstration, the A-10 Thunderbolt 2s. The F-16s, the F-15E Strike Eagles, A-10s, and the F-35s are also going to be joined today by the HH-16 Pavehawk helicopters, the Jollies from the 88 Test and Evaluation Squadron. All of our aircraft will now make their way to their designated holding points, and our combined arms demonstration, Western Mortgage, Armed Forces Bank, the Boeing Company, and First Command Financial Services. Recovery operations for U.S. Special Operation Command Forces. This can include weapons, communication radios, and other equipment. And once they are firmly on the ground, they are ready to conduct the mission in order to treat the wounded individuals. flies to intercept enemy aircraft as they seek to chase off or engage and intercept and neutralize the aggressors. As you will witness in this next Thunderbirds have stabilized the wounded in action, but the casualties need to be evacuated to a higher level of medical care. In this battle, the JTAC requests rescue from the HH-60 helicopters and escorting fighter aircraft to facilitate the medical evacuation. They're going to pick up the JTAC mission commander and the striker who work together to neutralize any and all remaining enemy threats to ensure a safe passage for the rescue team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to our show, the Aviation Nation, Mr. Up and over the top. Bill, as I mentioned, one of the most accomplished aerobatic pilots any place, and by far one of the most friendly. He has incredible credentials as a coach, as a formation pilot, and a solo aerobatic performer as he completes this maneuver. With upwards at times to about 12 Gs. What does that mean? Well, if you were a 200-pound person like me, you did weigh 2,400 pounds in that cockpit. It is incredibly punishing indeed. This Zipco Edge 540, capable of some incredible maneuvers as we see 3 rapid snap rolls and some opposite aileron rolls as he dives back in towards show center for his next. Bill's passion for precision flying is evident in every single move he makes, and he practices nearly every day to keep his skills razor sharp. And you can see why as he continues to tumble this thing around in a maneuver he calls the spiraling tower. Hanging on that Hartzell propeller, there's one turn going in for 2 flat spins and a half, putting the airplane exactly where he wants it each and every time. Let's give it up, everybody, for Bill Stein at the spiraling tower. During Bill's performance, he will times be actually using the gyroscopic force of the engine and the propeller to at times appear to be sinking out of control. There are moments when he's along for the ride and he knows exactly what he can do with the right input. Speaking of flight, how Roy will take control flight once again. Pushing himself and this aircraft to the absolute limits. And now set up from the right. Slide rider. Let's take a look now to the right as he dives in. There's speeds in excess of 220 miles an hour. Peaking our ship line rush. The camera should and now the forward stick rudder. Continuing to roll the airplane. There we go. There's the knife edge tunnel. job that he has on this Zimco Edge 540. It's got a chroma flare paint job and actually allows it to change color. You'll see some purple and some green and some yellows and oranges and blues. It all depends on how the light approaches the airplane. That's not a cheap paint job, that's for sure. Now, he's off to the left. He's in relatively slow speed flight, and that's our indication he's setting up for a series of maneuvers he likes to call the D's. Check this out. We're going to watch him. That even at relatively slow speed flight, this airplane remains remarkably maneuverable. Watch him forward steer. There he goes. And he will do that in a couple of different directions down the show line. Again, showcasing the incredible performance of one of the most sought after aerobatic model planes. Pulling back on the stick. Watch. He uses the stick back to his left. Right here. Maneuver. He's going to pull up into the vertical for a figure that's called a torque roll. He is actually going to use the torque of the engine and the propeller, turning one direction with him turning the opposite direction to in fact hover this aircraft and stop it in one spot in the sky. It was a maneuver first invented back in 1972 by the great Charlie Hillard. As he backs it up, there's 50, 60, 70 miles an hour in reverse. What do you think about that, Nellis Air Force Base? Let's put our hands together for Bill Stein and the torque roll. There's the surface. In our air show business. He was the 2016 recipient of the International Council of Air Show Sword of Excellence, the 2021 recipient of the Art Show Moral Showmanship Award, and it was also in 2015 that he was inducted into the ICAS Air Show Hall of Fame for his contributions as a pilot with the world-famous Red Baron Pizza Squadron. Setting up now, this is a maneuver he calls the Booby Tumble. Stein, again, a legend in our business, surface-level aerobatic performer, in case you haven't mentioned, and at times will be down at, well, we like to call jackrabbit-scaring altitudes, but right now, he is setting up for a tribute, a maneuver that makes the Edge 540, again, one of those most impressive aerobatic aircraft. It's his salute to an aircraft that's about to be retired in a few months. It's the AV-80 Harrier 2. This is the Harrier Pass. Take a look as he slows this thing down to as slow of an airspeed as possible. possible. Not as much wind at altitude here today, as he now tracks across the ground at about 10 or perhaps 15 miles an hour. And with enough gust, he can actually fly this airplane backwards. Up in a little smoke. Look how slow he's going, hanging on the prop of that Hartzell propeller, and of course the pilot still of Mr. Bill Stein. Zipco Edge 540. Let's put our hands together for his salute to the mighty Harrier and Bill Stein and the Harrier man. Bill would like to thank his sponsors. Aircraft engines, CJ Aviation, Champion Aerospace, Hartzell propeller, emergency parachutes, BNC Specialty Brothers, Small GPS Systems, and two-square aviation. Come and find out what he likes to call us. As he slides and showcasing an incredible runner authority his way for all of you here at Aviation Nation 2025. He has been cleared to land. How about a very nice round of applause, Las Vegas, for Mr. Bill Stein. Birch, 422 Test and Evaluation Squadron 810 Test Pilot and Division Commander for spearheading this year's Combined Arms Demonstration. The United States Air Force Weapons School, recently celebrating their 75th anniversary, has been on the cutting edge of technological advancements, tracing its roots to the Aircraft Gunnery School established here back in 1949 and continues to support great deals of efforts, including that also of the on-station red flag and green flag held here at Nellis, and one of the latest combat exercises series conducted, Operation Bamboo Eagle, testing forces within the Nevada Test and Training Range.
extremely low airspeeds and high angles of attack. Watch closely as the aircraft pulls to the vertical and executes a 360-degree aileron roll. At altitude, the jet will flip backwards and level off and execute an immediate 360-degree flat turn, then reverse the turn in the opposite direction, all at under 3,500 feet of altitude and under complete control. but not many can slide. Watch now from behind as the Raptor flies over, pulls straight up into the vertical and brings his throttles to near idle. And then under complete control, the F-22 Raptor will actually slide backwards. over 600. Javelin turtle will now roll inverted in preparation for the speed pass, reposition, and a high-speed pass, showcasing just a fraction of the aircraft's supercruise and new speed capability. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare for Freedom's Thunder on the high-speed pass.
Here, go Tuesday. Try to be here permanent.
Thank you for your patriotism. Thank you for your support.
Oh my God.
Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. All the way out in the line. Great Hastings Air Force's F-22 Raptor. Registration badges serving green bubble. And official Raptor DJ, technical surgeon, bringing some serious thunder. Aviation Nation 2025. Water Trade Analyst Captain Nellis who's way back in. Featured the big wave as he makes his touchdown. And of course, also joining us as part of the U.S. Air Force Heritage Flight, the F-5E Tiger II, flown by retired Brigadier General Tommy Williams. Its call sign is Limiter. And it was the F-5 Tiger that actually was based here for many years. Something to drink. Many of those concession stands manned by local non-profit organizations. You can feel good that all of that money stays here in the Vegas community and goes to support some very worthy local organizations and non-profit groups. She is climbing high and behind us now to prepare for her hair start, and we will listen again to the sounds of that 1,600 horsepower Rolls-Royce V12 engine.
aeronautic industry. Her passion for aviation remained, especially after she took an aerobatic ride with air show legend Conley. She began competing in aerobatic competitions, working her way up to various levels, and began performing at local air shows. Today, she's in high demand around the country as one of the smoothest warbird flyers in the nation. Giving you a look at what this aircraft would look like at the National Championship air races previously held in Reno, Nevada. In the turn, high speed at less than 100 feet above the deck. In her first year of racing, Vicky was chosen as the Rookie of the Year, having won her first race ever. It was in 2015 that she became the fastest woman racer, setting a new record in the jet class, flying an Aero L39 Albatross to some 469 miles an hour. In September of 2023, she flew this P-51 plug crazy to a fourth place finish in the Covington Unlimited class. She is the second only woman to have raced in the limited class in the air race's entire 59-year history. Vicky is very proud to be sponsored by California Aeronautical University, where they are training the next generation of aviators. CAU students are on the fast track to rewarding aviation careers designed for efficiency. The bachelor degree program allows students to start flying on their first turn and complete the program in just 3 years. We invite you to visit the California Aeronautical University display near the hot pit area and online at calaero.edu. Aviation fleets in the business. We watch again from the left as Vicky Benzing approaches in this, that North American P-51. Yeah, that's the sound of the Rolls-Royce V12 Merlin engine built by the Packard Company here in the United States. That is the P-51 Mustang. It is flown today by Miss Vicky Benzing. She is flying this air racing P-51 that's known as Plum Crazy. And it was... Aerospace Corporation, Concord Batteries, Tempest, Live Aviation, Oregon Aero, Lift Aviation, Best Tugs, Best Method 7 Performance Optics, California Aeronautical University. She is going to set up for one more pass as one Plum Crazy. High and overhead, where you will see that Focal BO-105 helicopter. In just a few moments, we are going to be seeing two of our jumpers, that of Amy Shimalecki and Mike Brewer, and they are going to be jumping with what are known as swoop shoots, and will be departing around the helicopter.
Then they continue to work their way down from altitude, take a look at the smoke as they work their way in toward Thunderbirds.
They'll lay right here.
Tens of thousands, no kidding, of parachute jumps through their way. They are low enough where they can hear you. Let's make some noise now. Listen, give them some praise.
With his slow fingers in the voice of the ship. Flying his body using a series of panels that actually allows him to have flight controls to roll and pitch and do some incredible things. These type of wingsuits can actually garner that about a 3-to-1 glide ratio. They can actually track for miles and miles. There's a recent video on the internet of the Red Royal Air Force jumping out of a C-17 where they came out the back, deployed the wings, and actually went up. Look that up when you get some time. Sean McCormick continuing to work his way down, and if you look very closely, you will see a couple of flaps dangling in the wind. He unzipped what he did of those panels that we were talking about to give a little more maneuverability, and he's going to be working his way in from the left into our landing area. Fly aerobatics in a helicopter as Kirby Chambliss continues to corkscrew around with his stroke. Yeah, that's just unnatural. Off to the right in a synchronized flight. Kirby Chambliss. the Medal of Valor for rescuing 2 flight crew members from a burning helicopter. And in addition to his air show and movie work, he flies UH-60 Black Hawks in firefighting contracts with the Forest Service battling forest fires in the western United States. He grew up near an airfield where there would be fire bombers there. He loved going to the airport, watching them take off, and it inspired him to become a pilot. And never his wildest dreams or even thought that he would be flying. A boat had to be on 105 and being paid He's going to continue to work his way off to our left and set up for one of my favorite maneuvers. This is called a bow turn. Let's watch him. Oh, there's a forward collective and the whole deal spinning around inverted. Absolutely incredible. He's going to continue to come by and again showcase to you this helicopter. This is the Bow 105. It was built in the 1960s for aeronautical evacuation, and what makes it special and allows it to do what you're seeing here today is because of a titanium rotor system, a titanium rotor head that keeps those rotors from flexing as other helicopters do. That keeps it from flexing and perhaps cutting the tail off. That would be a good thing. You certainly can't do this in those helicopters. Stable flying those fleets. And his introduction to aerobatic flight began quite by accident. When he was 21 years old, he was flying as a corporate pilot for a major hotel chain. And the chief pilot was a smart guy and said, "Hey, Kirby, if this jet ever ends up upside down with the CEO on board, we want to make sure you can turn it right side up without hurting everyone." Kirby was recognized as one of the top 15 aerobatic pilots in the world, where he was asked to compete in the very first Red Bull Air race. He transferred his explosive, aggressive flying style to the racetrack, and today is a two-time Red Bull Air Race world champion. Though the air races discontinued in 2019, Kirby is proud of his experiences traveling the world and representing Red Bull at an international level. He fits right in with his other interests, running, skydiving, and motocross, and he recently picked up helicopters. Why? Just because he can. There's a 9-inch tumble. Oh, that's gonna hurt. the freestyle portion of this aerobatic routine, going a bit off script to play with every inch of our aerobatic box. Right down at Jackrabbit, scaring altitudes and times. Kirby most comfortable down close to the ground as he is upside down. Continue to tear it up. It's Kirby Chambliss. Kirby, the 2022 recipient of the Art Show Memorial Showmanship Award, and the 2024 Bill Barber Award for Showmanship, two of the highest honors given to the Art showcasing that Red Bull gives you wings. Ladies and gentlemen, for the 2025 Aviation Nation Air Show here at Nellis Air Force Base, let's put our hands together for the members of the Red Bull Air Force. That's a spectacular demonstration.
Now it's the Thunderbirds all go.
Tracy's still trying to ruffle his feathers.
That's the only way to stop flying. Obviously, to run out and
He's going to retrieve about 1,000,000
Probably put the billion cans of Red Bull.
Probably more than that.
still in her way.
I know she don't need it. It don't work that way now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time that we turn things over to the team. So here is my question for all of you. Are you ready for the Thunderbirds? Yeah, no, not going to work. It is indeed their hometown show. And again, the beginning of the 2025 season. Let's show them a little more love. Are you, Vegas, ready for the Thunderbirds? Ladies and gentlemen, headlining the 2025 Aviation Nation Air Show, it is with great pride and honor I present To you, your United States Air Force Air Demonstration Squadron, known to the world as the Thunderbirds!
We are the warriors of the 21st century, a noble symbol of freedom and a tireless pursuit of excellence, an everlasting legacy of pride, precision, and professionalism of all airmen of the United States Air Force. per minute. It is capable of Mach 2 or 1,500 miles per hour and maneuvers at 9 times the force of gravity. From our fabled past to today's ambassadors in blue, we seek to be the best of the best in our critical mission. Recruit, retain, and inspire the long blue line of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We are the premier air demonstration squadron of the United States Air Force. We are 130 of the finest airmen together to exhibit the capability and uncontested air dominance of the United States Air Force. Anywhere, anytime. We are the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, check.
Thunderbird team crafted a demonstration that would shape Since 1953, not a single demonstration has been canceled due to a maintenance breach. Please join me in thanking the true heroes of our team and of the United States Air Force for maintenance and support.
Stand by, 1, 2!
I hear this every day of my life. Much love to the maintainers. I want to say yeah.
So, I mean, that might have obviously like the target.
I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. I
From over 72 years of technical training and thousands of hours. The Thunderbirds are airmen first and airmen always, faithfully and professionally representing their brothers and sisters in arms who are providing unrivaled air, space, and cyber dominance around the globe. I've been breaking these walls in my mind. Approaching from directly in front, your 2025 Thunderbirds and the inspirational Wedge First. Assistant Crew Chief, Thunderbird 4 from Assistant Crew Chief, Thunderbird 5 from Charlotte, North Carolina, Staff Sergeant Jordan Hutcherson. Our NCOIC continued outreach from Tucson, Arizona, Staff Sergeant.
No, Mika, until they come back.
Our aerial photographer from Guilford, Indiana, Senior Our Thunderbird Cody Hoover. Our independent technician from South Pennsylvania, Staff Sergeant Mason Kyle. As you have witnessed, the precise execution of our demonstration requires unparalleled dedication from all of our
Are you going to fly one of these? No fly the airplane? No? They're coming, Ellie, they're coming. Thank you.
Hopefully you'll get more.
Our operations officer, Las Vegas, Nevada, Lieutenant Colonel Taylor White. Thunderbird 8, Major Brandon Maxson, Thailand, Ontario, California. Thunderbird 9, our flight sergeant, Conley, Texas. Thunderbird 10, our executive officer, Las Vegas, Nevada. Thunderbird 11, our maintenance officer, Ladies and gentlemen, your demonstration pilots for the 2025 Thunderbird team. Thunderbird 1, the team commander and leader of Smart Land Mission, Thunderbird 2, the left wing from Greensboro, North Carolina,
California, Mark.
flying right wing is lost from Florence, South Carolina, Major Tyler Clark. Thunderbird 5, the lead solo from Arlington, Virginia, Major Jeffrey Downey. And Thunderbird 6, the opposing solo from Columbus, Texas, Major Laney Schultz. Now, it is my pleasure to hand the mic back to the voice of Aviation Nation, Mr. Luke Carrico. You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Thunderbirds! Thunderbird number 7, the operations officer, Lieutenant Colonel Taylor White at that time. The Thunderbird show 17 as well. What a day, and a big thank you to all of you joining us here for Aviation Nation 2025. And a big thanks to you now in the great seats. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, does put a wrap on our Sunday edition of the 2025 Aviation Nation Air Show. You all have been a terrific air show audience at this day. Us here at Nellis Air Force Base. We want to say thanks to Air Show Director Bob Jones, Air Operations Director Major Bill Hamilton, Pedro Martinez, our Air Operations
Get over here! No!